All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with the Cats, sponsored by Atrium Health. I'm Justin Parker. Joining us today is field hockey head coach Zoe Almquist. Zoe, how are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here today.
Great. Yeah, it's nice to see you on video at least.
I know. I'm looking forward to the days where we can see people in person again consistently, but
Right.
I'm thankful for the technology that we have to stay connected anyway.
Absolutely. And I think we're all going to be Zoom All-Americans by the time this is all over with.
I think so too. I've taken some good Zoom lessons away that I'm going to use in the future, even in just my recruiting and things like that. So there's been some good lessons that are going to extend beyond this time, I think.
So obviously, first year for you, last year as head coach for Davidson, and I think we've talked about before, just trying to get through that first year, and then you kind of get used to it, and then as you have said, just improve on that cycle and what you want to do. And then 2020 hits, and everything is so different. What have you been able to do? What have you kind of learned through all this so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when we're in February, we're feeling like, okay, a couple more months and we'll have done this whole thing once. I started in April of last year. So, I was kind of looking forward to that 1 year mile marker thinking like, well, maybe I'll get to sleep through the night now. And then, a couple of weeks before that was due to happen, COVID hit and sort of just kind of put the reset button on, the number of months that we've got to hold in here for things that are going to be brand new. But with every single one of these challenges, it's an opportunity for growth and an opportunity for learning. And so I think that's something that I've really tried to talk to my players about and try to kind of keep that mentality myself. Is like, we just hang in here because we're going to come out on the other side of this stronger than we were to start. And, we have some team, kind of culture words that we've been talking about and working on. And one of our words that we kind of introduced in February was resilient, and couldn't have been more fitting to the last 6 months. So we've talked so much about, just taking in whatever comes our way and being flexible and excelling with whatever our new normal is. And it may change day to day, minute to minute, hour to hour, but if we can adapt and excel in that new environment, it's only going to help us down the line. So I've kind of tried to keep that in mind too, as things get wild, and have continued to be wild over the last 6 months or so.
Well, I know it's, we're creeping into September here, and it's already, the days are clicking off, and the mind and the clock tells you should be playing games right now. So what are you able to do right now to kind of, keep moving forward and looking ahead to the season for when it does come around?
Yeah, so I mean, it's tricky, right? Because we know that the NCAA and the A10 are, kind of all systems go on aiming for a spring season, but we don't have any details really about what that's going to look like. And of course, that depends on, us as a country really being able to manage that. So you have to strike this balance of like looking at what we can do in this moment, but also, staying excited for what could be coming down the line, and trying not to count our chickens before they've hatched has been a big one for us. We talk a lot about, we know what we know right now, and we try not to spend too much time speculating because it could just change so quickly. So we're really just approaching this as a second off season. So we've looked at, okay, what are the things that are really important priorities to us? What were those priorities in January? And those priorities haven't changed in terms of our skill development and our team cohesion. And so we're working toward all of those pieces right now, and knowing that this is an opportunity to lay the kind of foundation that we want moving forward when we do have the opportunity to get out there and compete.
What do you like about this team so far? Now that the freshmen are on campus, you finally have everybody together. Well, most of the time together, even under different circumstances. But you have some veterans too: McGee Roman, Nellie Turnage, Valerie Hayek, Julia Smith, people like that. And then you've got some international flavor now, 3 incoming freshmen from overseas. What do you like about this team now?
Yeah, I'm really appreciative of this team's heart and our diversity and our willingness to accept everybody, and watching in particular those leaders that you mentioned, watching them develop over the last year and continue on this journey that they're going on. It's just been such a pleasure to have them alongside me in this time, because I think, you know, their consistency and their ability to look at something that can be really devastating. You know, having to hear that your season is postponed till spring, that's really devastating, especially for your rising seniors, and just to watch how they've managed this time with such grace, and really been able to kind of still, you know, be welcoming and accepting to all of our freshmen. We have a huge freshman class. We have 10 freshmen, like you mentioned, 3 from overseas. Everybody's adjusting to all kinds of new things, and it's a, you know, it's not a normal year for anybody. So our freshmen have questions like, oh, where do I get my cat card? And our seniors are like, we don't know, but we'll find out for you. And so it's just kind of things that normally would easily be answered, and that we're all kind of finding out together. So just kind of that grace and that resiliency, the heart that they've shown. It's just been such a pleasure with the leadership on this group, and having our freshmen jump in there. And it's certainly exciting too that we have some numbers now. We were a pretty small roster last year, so our coaching staff would jump in at practice pretty much every day, and now to be able to look out there and know that we've got the numbers and the bodies to, even if it's socially distanced, if it's masks on, if it's 6 feet apart, we still have the numbers that we're able to, you know, work into game-like settings, and scrimmage type setups is really exciting. And so I think for all of us, we're just keeping in mind that, like, this is one piece of the puzzle for a bigger picture here. And I've just really been leaning on our upperclassmen to kind of help continue to remind our freshmen of that idea too, is that we're playing for the long game at this point.
What's I think you touched on a little bit with the seniors and the veterans kind of taking that lead, but you have 3 internationals, and every time I hear, you know, whether it's in field hockey or basketball, you know, we just had John Axel Goodmanson for 4 years from Iceland, and I always try to put myself into their shoes. Could I go to the Netherlands for college at age 18 or whatever? Could I go to Iceland to college? It sounds like a lot to bite off at once. What's it been like to kind of bring them into the fold?
Yeah, I mean, talk about bravery, right? I
Yeah.
mean, this group is courageous, and that's, you know, one of our other team words is we talk about courageous. These 3 in particular, in fact, we talk about being 18 and coming off to school. All 3 of them right now are 17.
Okay.
So I have 3 17-year-old internationals that came overseas. You know, 2 of them don't have bank accounts here yet because you can't open a bank account until you're 18. So, think about things like that. Not having your cell phone working, having to come over. And at first, we didn't even know if they would be able to get here because the borders were closed. The U.S. consulates overseas were also closed, so being able to get visas was a big question mark. And so just having to hang in the balance there, and as a coach, not being able to tell them, you just don't know. So we had to talk about plans B, C, D, E, F, what's going to happen if things don't get opened here. And so, they had to come in. A couple of them had to do a 14-day quarantine when they arrived. And, just to manage that with such maturity for a group that, like I said, 3 17-year-olds is just amazing. And I'm just so proud of them and the work that they've done. And, and then you jump in and you've got, not only you're taking classes in another language, which, I'm not fluent in any other language. So I can't even imagine taking the courses that Davidson has to offer in another language. And then they're trying to figure out, what their crazy coach is saying at practice. Cause we have different kind of, our Davidson field hockey dictionary, or even our US field hockey dictionary, sounds different than a Dutch or a German field hockey dictionary. So trying to figure out, like, what is she talking about? And they're doing such a good job, really just working their way in. So I'm really proud of them and the work that they've been doing.
Well, in some ways, I guess they have extra time here to get ready, and maybe that ends up being beneficial in the long run. I didn't
I
realize
think
they
so.
were 17.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure they feel that way right now with all the extra running that they're doing. They're like, wait a second. No, but they're doing a great job. So it does help us really with all of our freshmen, the ability to have another 6 months to prepare. It makes them really not walk in their first couple games like freshmen. It gives me and my coaching staff the opportunity to play around with different lineups and figure out where people are going to be able to play best. We don't have to make those decisions in 1.5 to 2 weeks. So it's a real advantage in a lot of ways for us to be able to get the time to kind of gel and mesh and just figure out some of those things. And, maybe by that time we'll have bank accounts set up and our turf shoes will fit and all those fun things that we haven't quite worked out yet. But thankfully the timeline doesn't feel quite as crunched as it does normally.
Well, this has been great catching up, and man, hopefully we can get out to Belt Turf Field at some point and have some normalcy, some games. I might sign up for a triple header right now. I don't know about you.
Perfect. Yeah, I know. I think that'd be pretty great. I think we're feeling pretty lucky here that we're going to be able to, as the southernmost D1 school, we're going to be able to, for field hockey, right? We're going to be able to train year round. We don't have to worry about when the snow shows up to all of our counterparts up further north. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. We know our time is coming here.